If you're learning Python, mastering lists is a game changer. They are the backbone of storing and working with data. In this video, I will not only show you what lists are, but also how to use them in real world scenarios with hands-on examples, all in under 17 minutes. Let's dive in. Imagine you are building a grocery shopping app. When a user adds item to their cart, you need a place to store all those items. This is where a Python list comes in. We can create a list called cart and add the items the user wants to buy. From there on, we can loop through the list to display the items, to remove something if they change their mind, or even calculate the total bill. For example, it might look like this on a screen. So in real life, lists are used anytime you need to store and manage a collection of things that can change, like shopping carts, playlist in a music app, or even a list of students in a classroom. Now that you understand what lists are used for, let's dive deeper into what lists actually are and how to use them in Python. As I mentioned earlier, a list is a collection of items. It is a data structure in Python that allows us to store multiple pieces of data inside one variable. Here is how a list is declared. Let's say I want to create a list named my underscore list. I can declare and create an empty list by typing my underscore list equals to opening and closing square brackets. This creates an empty list with nothing in it. Now, I can use the built-in length function to check how many items are inside the list. For example, if I type length of my list, comma, len, and within round brackets, I will specify the name of the list. And if I run this code, it prints 0 because the list is empty. Now, let's update the list and add a few items. I will go back to my list and add 3, 4, 6. Now, the list has 3 items in it. That means the length of this list should now be 3. Let's run it. And yes, it correctly displays the length as 3. A list in Python can also hold items with different data types. This means a single list can contain an integer, a string, another list, floating point numbers, an object, or even a tuple. Now, a tuple is another data structure in Python, and I will cover that in my next video. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell icon if you haven't already. Let's look at an example. I will create a new list, my underscore md underscore list equals to, and within square brackets, I will write 2 comma apples, comma 3, comma grapes, comma, I will add one more list inside this list, 4 comma 6. And now I will print it. Print list with multiple data types, comma, my underscore md underscore list. When I run this code, it works perfectly fine and displays the list with integers, strings, and even another list inside it. To access items inside a list, we make use of indexes. In Python, an index always starts from 0. That means the first element of the list is at index 0, the second element is at index 1, and so on. For example, if I type my underscore md underscore list and within square brackets 0, this will read the value stored at index 0. Now let's enclose it in a print statement. Print value at index 0, and if I run it, it displays the value 2, which is correct. Now let's try accessing the element at index 1. I will go to the next line and type print value at index 1 my md underscore list at index 1, and if you look at the output, it correctly displays apples. So now you have seen how list can store different types of items and how we can access them using indexes. Pretty powerful, right? And honestly, I put a lot of effort into making these tutorials clear and hands-on for you. The only way I know that effort is paying off is when you hit like and subscribe. That's what motivates me to keep creating more Python content for you. So hit that like and subscribe button. Alright, let's move on to the next concept. Lists in Python are mutable. That simply means we can change the value of a list item at a specific index. For example, if I type my underscore md underscore list at index 3 equals to 20, it will replace the value at index 3 with the number 20. So in this case, the word grapes will be replaced by 20. Let's print the list again. Print value of list after modification my underscore md underscore list, and I'll run it. And as you can see, the list got updated. Since we are able to change the value in a list using their index, this property is called mutability. So remember, lists in Python are mutable, which means they allow us to change their items. And this is actually very different from some other data structures in Python like tuples, which you will see in one of my upcoming videos. Now, let's learn how to add new items to a list. Python provides us with an inbuilt function called append, which allows us to add a new item to the end of an existing list. For example, if I want to add oranges to my list, I can write my underscore md underscore list dot append and within round brackets oranges. Now let's print this list again. Print updated list after append operation, comma, mymd underscore list. When I run this code, the list gets updated with the new item at the end. In the same way, Python allows us to remove items from a list using the remove function. For instance, if I want to remove oranges from the list, I can write my underscore md underscore list dot remove and within round brackets I will type oranges. Let's print this list again. Updated list after remove operation my underscore md underscore list, and I'll run this code. And as you can see, the item oranges has been removed. Now here is something important to remember. If the list contains multiple items with the same value, the remove function will only delete the first occurrence. Let's look at an example. I will create a new list. Remove underscore list equals to 40, 50, 60, 80, 90, 100, and let's say 50. And in the next line, I will type remove list dot remove and within round brackets, I will enter 50. Now let's also print the updated list values. Print updated list after remove operation, comma, remove underscore list, and I will run the code. Here, even though there are 350s in the list, only the first one at index 1 is removed. So remember, the append function adds new item to the end of the list and the remove function deletes the first matching item from the list. If you are working on a project and want to add a new item to the list at a specific index, you can make use of the insert function. For example, let's say I want to add the element 200 at index 2. I can write my underscore md underscore list dot insert and within round brackets I will specify the index number. In this case, I want to enter the number at the index 2. So I'll type 2, comma, I will specify the element value. In this case, 200. Before doing that, let's display the list. I'll go here and type print before insert my underscore md underscore list, and after this insert statement, I will again print after insert my underscore md underscore list. Let's run this code. If you notice here, the new element 200 got added at index 2. That means at the third position of the list. So far, we learned about appending and inserting single elements. But what if you want to add multiple elements at once? Let's say I have another list, my underscore new underscore md underscore list equals to 4, 6, 7, 99. Now, instead of adding these values one by one using append, I can add them all together to my original list using the extend function. To do that, I'll go to the next line and type my md underscore list dot extend and within round brackets I will specify the new list. Let's print it. I'll go to the next line and type print value of my underscore md underscore list after extend my underscore md underscore list. I will run this code. If you see here, all the elements from my new md list got added to my md list. So instead of writing list.append 4 times, I can just use extend and add everything in one go. Alright, I'm going to show you a very useful technique that you will be using a lot when writing Python programs. Let's say you have a list of 5 integers. Numbers equals to 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, suppose you want to calculate the sum of all these numbers. One way to do this is by writing sum equals to 0. and in the next line I will write sum equals to numbers at index 0 plus numbers at index 1 plus numbers at index 2 plus numbers at index 3 plus numbers at index 4. This works fine for a small list, but what if you had hundreds of numbers? Writing code like this will look unprofessional, it will take too much of time, and if the list grows in the future, you will have to manually update your code again and again. That's not efficient at all. Instead, we can use a for loop. Here is how it can be done. I'll comment this line and go to the next line and type for I in numbers colon sum equals to sum plus I. What this loop does is simple. It goes through each element in the list, stores it in I, and adds it to our sum. For example, at the start, sum is 0. When I equals to 3, it does sum equals to 0 plus 3. So sum becomes 3. On the next iteration, when I is equal to 5, so it does sum equals to 3 plus 5 equals to 8. And this continues until all the numbers are added. At the end of the loop, sum will hold the total of all the numbers in the list. The best part? Now it doesn't matter if your list has 5 numbers, 500 or even 5000. This program will handle it automatically. That's the power of loops. Go through this section again because this technique will be one of the most common things you will use when writing real Python code. Now, don't go anywhere. I still have 6 more super useful inbuilt functions that will make working with lists much easier in real life projects. Stick around. These will definitely boost your confidence in Python. By the way, if you're finding this tutorial helpful and you are learning something new, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really motivates me to keep creating more such Python tutorials for you. Alright, let's get back and continue exploring lists in Python. Now, let's talk about a few more functions that are most commonly used to manipulate a list. And these are pop, clear, index, count, sort, and reverse. Let's start with the pop function. The pop function removes the last element from the list and also returns it. For example, if I write print popped element, comma, numbers dot pop, and then if I write content of list after pop operation numbers. Let's run it. You will notice that the value 8 got removed from the list. Since 8 was at the end, the pop operation took it out and gave it back to us. Next, if I want to remove all the elements from the list and completely clear it, I can use the clear function. Let's try it out. I'll go to the next line and type numbers.clear, and in the next line print after clear operation numbers. And when you run this code, you can see that the number list is now empty. The clear function simply wipes out everything inside the list. Next, let's talk about the index function. This function helps us to find the position of a specific value inside the list. For example, if I have a list of fruits and I write fruits equals to apples, comma, banana, comma, mango, comma, apple again, comma, grapes. And in the next line, print index of mango, fruits dot index, and within round brackets, mango. And if I run this code, this will return 2 because mango is present at index 2 in the list. Another useful function is count. This tells us how many times a particular element appears in the list. For example, print count of apple fruits.count and within round brackets apple. Here the output displayed is 1 because apple occurred once in the list. Let's say I change this first element from apples to apple, and if I run this code, it should display 2 as the output. Now let's move on to sort. The sort function arranges the list in ascending order by default. For example, I have created a number list again, and in the next line if I type numbers dot sort and then print list after sort comma numbers, this will give us 3 5 6 7 and 8. If we want the list in descending order, we can pass an argument like this, reverse equals to true. Let's run it again. Now the numbers are sorted from largest to smallest, that is in the descending order. Now let's talk about the reverse function. The reverse function simply flips the order of the list without sorting it. For example, let's create a new list. Letters equals to A, comma B, comma C, comma D. In the next line, I will type letters dot reverse and let's print it. Print list after reverse, comma letters. If I run this code, this will give us D, C, B and A exactly in the reverse order. So to quickly recap, pop removes the last element, clear empties the list completely, index finds the position of an item, count tells us how many times an item occurs, sort arranges the list in order, and reverse flips the list. Now, I am planning to create my next video on tuples in Python. But here is the thing, I will only make that video if this one gets at least 100 likes. Why? Because that tells me this content is actually valuable to you. If I don't see that kind of response, I will know this topic isn't helping enough and I don't want to spend time building something that doesn't serve you. So, if you found this video useful, go ahead and hit the like button. That's your way of telling me, yes, this helps. Please make more. And do not forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the tuples video when it drops. Thank you.